The quiet stranger. It was raining in Los Angeles. Not just a little, but heavy, endless rain. The kind of rain that made everything feel slower, quieter, and colder. People rushed past each other under umbrellas. Cars splashed through puddles. But in the middle of this busy city, one woman stood still. Ana de Armas sat on a cold bench near a quiet park. She wore a hoodie, her hands deep in her pockets, trying to stay warm. Her eyes looked tired, not just from lack of sleep, but from something deeper. She had just left another audition where no one really looked at her. No one cared about her tears, her effort, or her talent. To them, she was just another face, another name. The roles were drying up. The phone calls were fewer. People whispered things behind her back like she had her moment and maybe she's done now. But Ana wasn't done. Her heart still burned for her dream. The problem was, the world had gone quiet. She didn't want to call her agent. Again, she didn't want to hear another excuse. She didn't want to ask her mom for comfort and pretend everything was fine. She just wanted a moment to breathe. A moment alone. So she sat in the rain, and that's when he walked by. A man in a black jacket, jeans, and worn-out boots. He held a single cup of coffee in his hand, no umbrella. His hair was wet, but he didn't seem to care. His face was calm. Gentle, like someone who had been through storms before and no longer feared them. He looked at her, not past her, not through her. At her cold day, he said softly. She looked up, a bit startled. "Hey," she replied, voice small. He paused, then looked at the empty space next to her. "Mind if I sit?" She nodded slowly. He sat beside her and offered the coffee. "You look like you need this more than I do," Ana hesitated. People weren't this kind anymore, not in this town, not without wanting something in return, but something about his voice. It was warm. Safe, she took the cup. "Thank you." Sat in silence for a minute, watching the rain fall. Then he spoke again. "You're Ana, right? Ana de Armas." She blinked. "Yeah. How do you know?" He smiled, but it wasn't the kind of smile people gave when they recognized a celebrity. It was softer. "I've seen your work. You're good. Really good." "Not good enough," she whispered without meaning to. He didn't respond right. Away. He just nodded, like he understood that kind of pain. Sometimes it's not about how good you are. It's about how patient you can be. It's about how much you can take before you break. She turned to him. "And what if you already feel broken?" He looked out at the rain. "Then you need someone to remind you that broken things can still shine." Silence. Then she asked, "Who are you?" He looked at her. "Keanu." Widened. It took her a second to realize why the name sounded familiar. Then it hit her. The man sitting next to her was Keanu Reeves. She had seen him in movies, of course, heard stories about him, but in person, he was different. He wasn't shining or loud or larger than life. He was just present. Human. "What are you doing here?" She asked. "Same as you. Thinking, escaping, remembering who I am." That line stayed in her mind. Remembering who I am. They talked for an hour, about life, about pain, about how lonely it feels when everyone forgets you, or worse, pretends. "You were never there." And in that hour, Ana felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Seen, understood, not because she was famous or once loved by the camera, but because someone cared enough to listen without judgment. As the rain began to slow, Keanu stood. "You're not done, Ana. Don't let anyone decide your worth. Not the agents, not the fans, not the critics." She looked up at him. "If I forget again," he smiled gently, "then I'll remind you." Then he walked away. No drama, no big goodbye. Just a quiet promise left in the rain. Ana sat there long after he was gone, holding the now cold coffee cup, her fingers shaking slightly. Not from the cold, but from the warmth he had left behind. In a city where everyone wanted something, Keanu had given her something instead. A little bit of hope. And sometimes, that's more powerful than anything else. But what Ana didn't know was that their paths were about to cross again. Next time, it wouldn't be quiet. It would shake her entire life. This was only the beginning. The unexpected letter. 3 weeks passed. Ana tried to move on. She kept going to auditions. She kept smiling on camera. She kept posting pictures that looked perfect, even when everything inside her felt like falling leaves. But every night, she thought about that moment in the rain, about the quiet man with kind eyes, the way he sat beside her and just listened. She didn't tell anyone about it. It felt too personal, too sacred. Then one morning, something changed. She was sitting at her small kitchen table, sipping old coffee and staring at a blank script when she heard a knock on the door. Not loud, not impatient, just soft. She opened it and found a delivery man holding a simple envelope. "For you," he said. "From who?" she asked. He smiled. "Don't know. Just told me to bring it to Ana de Armas." She took it carefully, thanked him, and closed the door. The envelope had no name, no logo. It's just her name written in neat handwriting. Inside was a letter, and what it said stopped her breath. Sometimes the world forgets. Sometimes we forget too, but you have not been forgotten. You are more than what people say. You're not a product. You are a person, and you still have something powerful inside you. If you're ready to remember who you are, come to the address below. Friday, 5 p.m. That was it. No signature, no name, just those words and an address. She read the letter 10 times. It was strange, a little mysterious, maybe even crazy. But the way it was written, it felt like him. Like Keanu, her heart raced. On Friday, she drove across the city to the address. It led her to a quiet old building near the edge of town. Didn't look like much. A faded sign, a wooden door. No cameras, no people. She hesitated before stepping inside. The moment she walked in, the world changed. Soft music played from an old speaker. The air smelled like cedar and warmth. And on the walls were photographs. Not of cities or celebrities, but of moments. A little boy helping a lost dog. An old man reading to a child in a hospital bed. A woman sitting alone, crying with someone handing her tissues and tea. Kindness. Small, quiet moments of kindness. Anna felt something stir in her chest, and then he appeared. Keanu. He stood near the back, in a simple black shirt, smiling at her like he'd been waiting all along. "You came," he said gently. "Was it you?" she asked, holding the letter. He nodded. "You looked like you needed to be reminded." "Reminded of what?" He stepped forward, his voice calm. "That you're not alone, that your story isn't over." Anna looked around again. "What is this place?" He smiled. "A place for people who lost their way. Actors, writers, singers. People who once believed and then forgot. This is where we come to remember." She blinked. You created this?" "Not alone. But I helped keep it alive." There were others in the room now. Not many, maybe 5 or 6 people. One woman looked like she hadn't smiled in years. Another man was in a wheelchair, his eyes distant. A young guy sat holding a guitar with trembling hands. "We meet once a week," Keanu said. "We don't talk about money or fame or what went wrong. We just share our stories. And sometimes we heal." Anna felt tears rise in her eyes. She hadn't cried in weeks. She didn't know she needed to. But something about this place, this moment, broke her open. "Can I stay?" she asked, her voice small. "Yes," he said simply. And she did. That night she listened. Not just to their voices, but to their hearts. The woman had once been a dancer, till her legs failed her. The man in the wheelchair had written 3 screenplays before the accident that changed everything. The young guy used to sing at open mics. Until his brother died, and he lost his voice, each one carried pain. But they also carried something more, hope. And as the night ended, Anna spoke too. She talked about the silence, about the loneliness of fading in a world that only praises noise. She talked about her fear that she was no longer good enough, and no one judged her. No one turned away. They listened when it was over. Keanu walked her to her car. "You did good," he said. "Thank you for everything." He looked at her, serious now. The world won't get easier. It might even get harder. But now you know. You're not doing this alone. Anna nodded. You really believe that broken things can still shine? He smiled. I don't just believe it. I've lived it. She watched him walk away into the night. No spotlight, no camera, just a man who had once been lost, and decided to help others find their way. Anna sat in her car for a long time, thinking, feeling, breathing, and as she drove away, she knew something had changed inside her. Something had woken up, but she didn't know that her biggest challenge was still coming, something that would test everything she believed in. And this time, she wouldn't just need hope, she would need courage. The broken affair. A month passed since that night at the old building. Anna kept going back every Friday. The group had become her shelter, her breathing space. In a world filled with noise and pressure, this place gave her something real, something soft. She started smiling again. Not for cameras, but for herself. She wasn't booking big roles, but that didn't matter. She had something better, no clarity. She was writing again. Short stories, small scripts. Her voice was returning, and every time she got lost in fear, Keanu was there. Never loud. Never trying to fix her. Just ... There, but peace doesn't last forever. One afternoon, her phone buzzed with a message from her old agent. Urgent, call me. Big opportunity. Serious money. Anna stared at the message for a long time. She almost deleted it. But something inside her whispered, just ask. So she called. Her agent answered in one ring. Anna, you're not going to believe this. What is it? Big studio. New film. Huge budget. They want you, me. Why? It's a remake of your old hit. They're bringing it back. They want the original face. It's going to be everywhere. Posters, interviews, red carpets. This is the moment. Anna felt her heart start to race. Fame again. Recognition. Cameras flashing. Crowds shouting her name. But then she asked, what's the story? Her agent hesitated. Double quotes. Well... Ash. They changed. It's more modern. More bold. How bold? You know, sexier. Darker. A little louder. They want you to be ... provocative. Anna felt the joy inside her start to twist. I don't do that kind of film, Anna, the agent said quickly. This is what people want now. You do this? You're back on top. This is your chance. Anna closed her eyes. After the call, she sat alone in her apartment. The script arrived in her email. She opened it, read it. It felt cold. The old story had been about a woman finding her strength. This version was not. It was loud, shallow, empty. It asked her to become someone she no longer was that night. She went to the building again. The group was already there. Warm lights, soft music. The room felt safe. Keanu saw her face the moment she walked. You okay? He asked. She nodded slowly. I got offered the biggest role of my life. He waited. But it's not me anymore, she said. It used to be. Maybe when I wanted to be seen more than anything. But now I just want to be true. Keanu didn't speak. He just let her feel the others listen to, and then the young man with the guitar, his name was Elijah, said something that stayed with her. Fame is like sugar, he said. It feels good fast, but it leaves you empty later. Anna smiled softly. Then what's real? Keanu finally spoke. What's real is what you can live with when the lights go out. They sat in silence after that. The next day, Anna called. Her agent, I'm sorry, she said, voice clear. I can't take the role. There was a long pause on the other end. Are you crazy? The agent snapped. You have any idea what you're throwing away? Anna took a breath. I'm not throwing anything away. I'm protecting myself. This is why people say you're difficult. Maybe I am. But at least now I'm honest, and she hung up. She stood in her apartment alone, but not afraid. Not anymore. That weekend, she got a letter. It's not from a studio, not from Hollywood. From a school. A film teacher had seen one of her old interviews. He remembered her talking about honesty in acting, about truth and storytelling, and he asked if she would come speak to his students. Just a small talk, the letter said. They don't care about fame. They care about heart. Anna read it twice, then smiled. She went. The classroom was small, the chairs old, but the students looked at her with bright eyes, not because she was famous, but because they believed she had something to say. She spoke from her soul, and when she finished, one girl stood up and said, "You made me feel like I'm allowed to say no." Kana smiled through her tears. That night, Keanu texted her. "Said no to the world today. That takes courage," she replied. "I finally feel free." But just as things started feeling right, something unexpected happened. Something that would test not just her choices, but her. Heart Keanu disappeared. No warning, no message, no goodbye. He didn't come on Friday. His phone didn't ring. His name didn't show up. Anna waited. A week, then two. And all she had was silence. The silence between us's room felt different without him. Every Friday, the little group met in that quiet space with the soft lights and warm chairs. But this time, Keanu's chair was empty. Anna kept looking at the door, hoping, waiting, but he didn't come at first. She thought maybe he was busy. Maybe something came up. He never talked much about his private life. He had always been quiet about pain, gentle about truth. But now he was just gone. She texted. Nothing. She called. It rang, then went to voicemail. No reply. Anna tried not to panic. She told herself he would show up next week. But he didn't. The weeks passed slowly, like walking through fog. Every time she picked up her phone, she hoped for a message. Every time she walked by that bench in the park, she looked for his face in the rain. But Keanu Reeves had vanished, and it hurt in a way she didn't expect. It wasn't just the silence. It was the space he had filled, the kindness, the quiet strength, the way he saw her when no one else did. And now, he was gone. One night she stayed behind after group. The others had left. Only Elijah stayed back with her. "You okay?" he asked gently. Anna shook her head. "Feel like I lost something, and I don't know how to get it back." Elijah leaned forward. Keanu once told me something. He said people disappear when they're hurting too deeply to ask for help. Anna looked at him, her chest tight. "So what do I do?" Elijah paused, then said, "You go find him." The idea hit her like lightning. She had been waiting, sitting, still in sadness, but now something inside her woke up. So she began searching. Not like a fan, not like someone chasing a star, but like a friend, a real one. She started asking around, people in the film world, small places, quiet corners, not the big studios, not the tabloids. She went back to that bench in the park, left a note under the seat. "I don't know where you are, but I hope you're okay. If you need anything at all, ... please let me know. You were there for me." Now it's my turn. Days passed, still nothing. Until one morning, she got an email from a name she didn't know. Just 3 words. "I need help." Her heart jumped. She opened it quickly. There was no message, just an address. In the hills, outside the city, far from lights and cameras, Anna didn't hesitate. She drove there that same afternoon. The road was narrow, winding. Trees everywhere. Silence thick in the air. She arrived at a small cabin, half hidden behind old trees. No cars, no people. She stepped up to the door, knocked. No answer. She knocked again. "Keanu, it's me, Anna." The door creaked open, and there he was. But he didn't look like himself. His eyes were tired, his beard longer, his clothes simple, like he hadn't left the house in days. He didn't speak. He just looked at her, and then looked away. Anna stepped in slowly, heart aching. "You disappeared," she whispered. He nodded. "I know." "Why?" He sat down, his shoulders heavy. "I didn't want anyone to see me like this." She sat beside him. "You saw me when I was broken." He looked at her. Really looked. His voice cracked as he spoke. "I thought I could carry everything. The pain, the pressure, the loneliness. but lately I feel like I'm drowning. Anna's hand found his. You don't have to do it alone. He shook his head slowly. I'm tired, Anna. Really tired of pretending, of helping others, and forgetting myself. She didn't offer answers. She just sat there, holding his hand. As the wind moved softly outside the cabin, you saved me, she said quietly, and I never got to say thank you. Keanu's eyes filled with tears. I didn't save you, he said. You saved yourself. They sat in silence for a long time. Not empty silence. Healing silence. Anna stayed the night in the cabin, on the couch, not because he asked her to, but because she couldn't leave him alone again. The next morning, she made coffee. It wasn't perfect, but it was warm. Keanu smiled, just a little. The first smile in weeks. You don't have to carry the world, she said gently. You just have to carry yourself, and let others help when it gets too heavy. He nodded, and that's how it began. Not a big comeback, not a dramatic scene, just two people helping each other stand, one day at a time. But neither of them knew what was coming next, because someone had been watching, and soon the quiet kindness they shared would be tested by something loud, public, and painful. A storm was coming, and this time they would have to face it together. When the world turned, Donna and Keanu spent the next few weeks in silence, but it was a good silence. They talked when they wanted. They cooked small meals together. They walked near the trees. No cameras. No expectations. Just peace. Keanu started sleeping again, laughing again. He even showed Anna his old journals pages, filled with thoughts, poetry, pain, and memories. Not for fame, not for anyone else. It's just words to survive. Anna started writing too. Something honest. A short film about a woman who fell and stood up. Again, not because the world helped her, but because someone gave her hope at the right moment. And Keanu, he agreed to act in it. Not for Hollywood, just for her. They planned it small. 3 actors, 1 camera, real locations. Nothing fake. 4. The first time in years, Anna felt like she was making something true, but peace, like firelight, is fragile. And one night, it broke. It started with a single photo. Someone had followed them, maybe a neighbor, maybe a drone. Someone had taken pictures of Keanu and Anna sitting outside the cabin, laughing, sharing a meal. Walking hand in hand, the photos hit the internet. Like a wildfire, headlines screamed. Keanu Reeves and Ana de Armas? Secret lovers? Is Anna using Keanu for a comeback? The real reason Keanu disappeared? Social media exploded. Every moment they had shared, pure, quiet. Riel was now twisted into gossip. Anna's phone rang over her old agent, reporters, bloggers, even people she hadn't spoken to in years. Everyone wanted a piece of the UH. Story.Keanu single quotes, his face was everywhere again. But this time, he wasn't in control. Anna looked at her phone, her hands shaking. I can't believe this, she whispered. They think I'm using you. Keanu stood quietly by the window, jaw tight. They always think something. What do we do? He turned to her, pain behind his eyes. We stay calm. But it wasn't just words anymore. Producers started calling Keanu to, offering big roles, trying to use the moment. It's trying to drag him back into the spotlight while his name was hot. Come back now, one of them said. This is your chance. The world is watching, he said no. But the pressure grew. One morning, Anna woke up to another headline. Keanu's friends warn, Anna's dangerous. She's manipulating him. She dropped her phone, her breath caught in her throat. Who would? Say that? She whispered. Keanu took the phone, read the article quietly. Then he saw it. A quote from someone inside their old support group. Someone they had trusted. Someone had betrayed them. Anna sat down, her hands shaking. They're tearing us apart. Keanu knelt beside her. Only if we let them. She looked at him, eyes full of tears, but it's so loud. He took her hand gently. And let's be quieter. Let's speak not with words, but with actions. Anna took a deep breath. We finished the film, she said. Keanu nodded. Show them who we are, not through press, through truth. But finishing the film wasn't easy. The people they trusted started pulling away. 2 crew members quit. Someone leaked the script. Investors who had quietly offered support disappeared. And yet, Ana and Keanu kept going. They shot scenes by hand. They used real light, real emotion. They cried. In scenes that weren't acting, they laughed between takes. And every shot told a story that couldn't be faked then. The final scene, just the 2 of them, sitting across from each other, quiet, broken. Keanu looked into Ana's eyes. "Why did you stay?" he asked in the scene. Ana replied, "Softly, because you stayed when I was nothing. And now, even when the world says you're too much or too little, I'm staying too." When they finished, the crew clapped. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real. They edited the film quietly. No studio, no press. Then Ana uploaded it, not to a theater, not to a big platform, just online, under a simple title, a small story about staying. No promotion, no trailer, just the truth. People started watching slowly at first, then faster, and then something beautiful happened. The world stopped yelling, started listening. Comments poured in. "This made me cry. Thank you. I haven't felt this in years. I thought I was alone. Now I know I'm not." Ana read every message, tears in her eyes. Keanu read some too, quietly smiling. Then came an email from a director, a respected one. He wrote, "I watched your film. No words. Just thank you. If you ever want to work together, my door is open." But Keanu replied simply, "Thank you. Right now." Ana smiled when she saw that. Because even with the noise, the rumors, the betrayal, he chose peace, and so did she. But just as they thought the story was ending, someone knocked at the door, and the past walked in. Someone neither of them expected. Someone who would change everything. Full circle knock on the door was soft. Like someone unsure if they were welcome. Ana looked up from the small table where she was writing. Keanu was making tea in the kitchen. Everything was calm, until that knock. Ana opened the door slowly, and her breath caught. It was her mother. She hadn't seen her in years. Not since Ana left her small town. It's full of dreams and fire. Not since she promised she'd make it big and never looked back. Her mother stood there now, holding a worn-out bag and an old photo in her hand. "Mama," Ana whispered. Her mother smiled through teary eyes. "Can I come in?" Ana stepped aside. Without a word, her heart was beating fast. Keanu looked up, saw the woman. Understood without asking? He gave a gentle nod and stepped outside to give them space. Her mother sat down slowly. "You look tired," she said. Ana laughed softly. "That's honest." "I saw the film," her mother added. Ana froze. "You did?" "Yes. Someone in town sent me the link. I watched it twice. Cried both times." Ana looked down. "I wasn't sure you'd understand it." Her mother placed the old photo on the table. It was young, Ana smiling, full of hope, holding her first acting award from school. "I kept this," her mother said, "even when we stopped talking, even when the calls ended." Ana's voice broke. "I thought you were disappointed in me." "Never." Her mother whispered. "I was only sad you thought you had to carry everything alone." Tears filled Ana's eyes. "I didn't know how to come back." "You don't have to know," her mother said gently. "You just come. And we figure it out together." Ana leaned forward and hugged her mother tight, kind of hug that ends years of silence. Keanu came back in later, quiet as always. Ana introduced him. "Mama, this is Keanu. He helped me when I forgot who I was." Her mother looked at him and smiled. "Thank you." He nodded politely. "She helped me too." The days passed with a softness that felt new. Ana's mother stayed. For a while, they cooked together, talked late into the night. No cameras. No pressure, just family. And one morning, Ana opened her laptop to check the film. Something had changed millions of views. Not because of drama, not because of gossip, but because people had found something real. People from everywhere were watching, sharing, crying, healing. They didn't care about fame. They cared about the feeling the story gave them. One message said, "This story saved me. I was about to give up, but now I want to try again." Showed the message to Keanu. He read it slowly, then said, "We didn't make a film. We gave people a mirror." Anna nodded. "And what do they see?" "Hope," he said, "and a little bit of themselves." That same week, an invitation came. A small film festival wanted to honor their work. Not for popularity, not for buzz, but for heart. Anna and Keanu agreed. They walked the carpet together, dressed simply. No flashes, no fake smiles. Just two people who had walked through fire and came out softer. They gave a short speech. Anna stood in front of the small crowd and said, "This story wasn't about heroes. It was about humans. People who fall, who break, disappear, and then, somehow, find their way back." The crowd clapped, but the applause didn't matter. What mattered was what happened after a young girl walked up to Anna backstage. "I'm scared to dream," she said softly. Anna knelt down and held her hands. "Me too," she replied. "But sometimes fear means your dream is worth it." The girl smiled. And that's how the story really ended. Not in front of cameras, but in moments. Like that, Keanu and Anna didn't become louder after the film. They became quieter, more present. They helped others, taught workshops, made short films. That didn't need fame. They lived softly and loved deeply. Anna often sat on that old bench where it all began, sometimes alone, sometimes with Keanu, and every time she saw someone sitting there looking lost, she remembered the day someone sat next to her in the rain, offered her a cup of coffee, and changed her life forever.